Hey, rock stars, Kenzie here. We have a very special guest, one of our very own fellow rock stars, Jen Yates, with us. Jen, I feel like we talk about you a lot, right? Like it's always like, well, what about this? What about that? And then somebody will say, well, Jen Yates does, and then fill in the blank. So I'm glad you're here with us tonight. The theme of doTERRA as of late is kind of back to basics, right? That's what everyone's talking about, and you're someone that rocks that. So tonight, if you wouldn't mind chatting with us about how you incorporate what doTERRA does, like with the promotions, into your business, and how you can teach us how to run with that a little better.
Sure. Thanks for letting me be here with all you fabulous people. I love each and every single one of these faces. It's so cool to be here with you guys tonight. Um, so I love like the promotions and talking a little bit on how to rock the promotions and kind of integrating it in your daily life here with your network. So I build a lot online. I just started kind of expanding to building in person, which I love. I feel like I've been missing a whole piece of my heart. I'm like, where's this been? So I really am a big fan of finding what works for you, um, building online or building in person, because you really have to find what fits your heart. And so for me in the beginning, it was definitely building online through social media. So I kind of want to touch a little bit about talking about how to rock the month out through social media, and then a little bit in as far as building in face-to-face. So on social media, I read the best quote. I actually have goosebumps just about to tell you guys what it said, because on social media, we feel like we need to have this huge, massive following, and that's a lie. That is a lie. So this post I saw the other day was about influencers. And it said, influencing isn't about likes, hearts, and followers. Influences are about changing someone's path. And that is so true. And you can be on social media and you can share on social media and become that influencer with your handful of people. I talked a little bit about this, about doing Facebook Lives. I love my Facebook Lives. They're a great way to connect with so many people. I consider every time I do a Facebook Live a class, and they can be a little nerve-wracking. They can be a little intimidating because it's the unknown on that other side, right? So you're pushing that camera and you're hitting go, and you're like, the unknown happens on that other side of the camera. And what we really need to realize and understand is those people that you're going to reach, those people that you're going to speak to their heart that day, those people that really need to hear what you have to say and something that they've been praying for, something that they've been asking for change, and here you come into their life. And that can happen through social media. Like literally, if you have one or two or three, four people watch your live, you don't know that the impact that you're going to have on those couple of people, right? So I really loved that quote the other day, is that about being an influencer. And as far as social media goes too, there's a piece of social media where I love the social media aspect because it's a free business tool. It is a free tool that we have at our fingertips, and you don't have to be on social media 16 hours a day. Okay. And if that's not attainable for most people, and that's okay. But having that presence on social media is really going to give you that connection of reaching out to your network, starting with your friends through social media. So with the promotions this month, I love that they put winter protection. I love that they put the 200 PV promo as all the ways to protect ourselves, 'tis the season. So we talk, doTERRA, they're so smart. They put in hand washing, they put in the sanitizer, they put in the immune strengthening oil, our favorite protective blend, and the roller. So you've got like all the equipment you need to keep yourself and your family healthy. So through social media, I like to say, get on there and show them how you use it. So if you're, as goofy as this sounds, Stories are a hot thing right now. Do you guys, a show of hands, does anybody know what stories are with Facebook or Instagram? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Stories are a hot commodity. People love stories because social media is so fast paced, right? A lot of people like that kind of click to see they want to see what you're doing in your home. They want to be like, oh, well, what's Jen doing? Is Jen done the dishes today? Like, they just want to be let into your home as a friend. So I love to use the stories as a way to show people a quick way of how you're using your essential oils or how are you using your promotion. So, excuse me, my voice is just a little crackly. I'm not sick either. This is what's crazy. I'm not sick. Thanks, doTERRA. So using your stories, show people how to use that hand soap and how you put it in. As silly as this sounds to us, right? As silly as this sounds to us, you taking that hand soap, pouring it into the hand pump and showing people how that works, it's unbelievable what people will jump in and they'll say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that doTERRA made a hand soap. I didn't know it was that easy. I didn't know the ingredients were so clean. And you get into these conversations with people. Show them where to roll. But something as simple as taking that roller in your story and saying, I like to swipe my On Guard in between my wrist and elbow, or I like to swipe up on my tummy because that's connected to my gut. So that's an area I like to swipe, because as simple as it is for us, majority of people don't know that, right? Your following that's using doTERRA, yes, they might understand that. They might say, oh yeah, that's where I like to put it too. But for a majority of people that don't understand essential oils yet, or don't understand doTERRA and the products, that little tutorial that you're giving in your story is going to be huge. They're going to say, oh, I didn't know it was that simple. So little stories like that is just taking it back to the basics. Like Kenzie said, go back to the basics on how to use the essential oils. I really love the training of the back to the basics where Elise talks about we have to bring it back down to a 5th grade level, because sometimes we get so excited and we learn a lot, right? We all get into this business and we learn a lot. We learn a lot about our bodies and about the oils and the oils in the bodies. And we want to teach all these really cool facts that we've learned along the way. But think about it when you first started. When I first started, I thought I was getting a smelly kit. I was like, oh, it's just some stuff that's going to make my house smell good. Great. So we have to bring it back to the basics. So teaching people in stories or on a live is a fantastic way to bring it back to basics. And they can be short and sweet, which even makes it easier, because a lot of times we feel like, how long do we have to actually get on a live and entertain? Or how long? Stories, again, are super short and sweet. So you get on there and you show someone how to do it, and in 30 seconds. So stories are fun. And it's a great way to break into doing lives. Has anybody done stories? Have you guys done them? Yeah? Good. Yeah? Awesome. So they're a great way to break in, especially to get you prepared and going into doing some lives. The other thing is that, it's I've talked about this before too. Your social media is your storefront, right? If you're not sharing those oils on your page, if you're not saying, hey, loudly and proudly, I share doTERRA, right? How are people going to know you're the oil lady or the oil guy? If there's any guys in here, how are they going to know that? So a fabulous way to figure out if you are sharing enough on social media is ask this question of your network, and do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow morning. Ask this question of your network. What are 3 things that make you think of me? And if they're not answering oils, you got some work to do, because that should be one of the top 3 things that someone says makes them think of you. It's a great question to ask your network. So then you know kind of where you stand. So sharing those promotions, get creative with them, have fun with them, and do them daily. Just because you post once, those promotions, right, doesn't mean everyone in your network just saw it and no one wants any. You've got to be that consistency of sharing. It's just like doing classes, right? It's if you're using the same class over and over and over again, you're doing the same things, repetitive actions. So it's going to reach more people and it's going to click with others. So I don't think there's any such thing as sharing too much doTERRA on your social media, period. There just isn't. There just really isn't. So sharing on your social media, you know, again, it's your storefront. So sharing you and sharing what you love the most, which is doTERRA, right? Or like it's who you are. It's who you are on social media. It's who you are in real life. So if someone walked into your house and they said, you know, oh, Tracy, you're exactly the same person on social media, right? So you're like, yes, that's what I strive for. And so social media becomes a really powerful tool, not for nothing, for your local connections as well. So I have found, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of tips. I have found that getting into your local groups, is anyone involved in local groups on their social media? It can be moms and tots, it can be, you know, yeah? Okay, so you guys all know what I'm talking about with groups and social media? Okay. That is a fantastic place to find some local friends to connect with and make friendships with and meet with and then grow yourself locally. So a few of the groups that I love to connect with, I love my, we have a CrossFit family. I love my CrossFit family. So being into a group of local people that are into the fitness has allowed me to grow and host workshops and classes with these people who are part of the CrossFit family, and actually now hosting them monthly in my CrossFit gym. So that opportunity has become amazing to, again, I have a local group of people there, and I can utilize that group to connect with people that I may not see in my regular classes. So say you're in a mom and tot group, right? First of all, you can't spam your business in groups. People don't like that. Okay, so when you get into groups, have that compassion piece of how would I feel if someone just spammed me with business talk, right? It's really about genuinely making those friendships first. So the local groups are a fantastic way to make those real connections and deep friendships with. So local groups is one of my newest favorite things that I'm working on right now. And you can find them even like, and you get to pick and choose, right? You get to really kind of get a vibe or a feel for someone. Like you get to kind of, what are they, online dating. You get to like check their profile out first before you're like, well, that lady, she was a little bit too much.
Like speed dating.
Like speed dating, yes, Kenzie, spot on. You get to pick, like you get to pick those relationships. Who, and if anyone is doing the mindset mentoring right now, right? Who do you visualize people that you want to be friends with? Who do you visualize your business partners to be? And what better option is to be able to like actually see these people, right? So I look for women that are my age. I'm looking for women that have the same love that I do. I'm looking for people that are, I love building online. So I'm looking for influential women online as well. I'm looking for people that are committed, you know, to something that they love. So fitness is a great one for me because I feel that fitness piece is, you know, they're showing that commitment to fitness and the love of being healthy, right? So I'm looking, that's where I'm pouring my time into and finding like-minded women like myself. I gotta take a quick break and drink water. Do you have questions so far? Because I love to talk. Yay.
Well, as you're talking, I'm trying to do a search to try to find local groups on Facebook, and I'm not being super successful. Do you have any suggestions for that?
Yep. So wherever you live, so if you have the option on Facebook, do you know how to search groups? Hold on, pull it up here.
Well, why don't you share that? How to search groups.
I don't know if I could do it from my, yep, okay. So if you go to like from my phone, there's a little option. I don't think you guys can see it. From my phone, I have an Android. All the way over to the right is like a bar drop down. And in that bar drop down, it gives you events and memories, like today in Des Plaines where I live, friends, and then it says groups. So when you hit groups, you can do it, there's a discover option. Yep. So I would look for like, I mean, the first group that I found locally for me was a Des Plaines history group. And it was just some people that loved to share about like history here in Des Plaines. And then I kind of was able to find some other groups here in Des Plaines. And they don't have to be specifically like, if it's a surrounding city, that's fine too. Like Chicago's huge. If you're closer to a larger city, you can find some more groups there. Another thing that's really cool is events. So there's an events option in Facebook that always will list local events that are happening. So that's another great way of getting into your community if you're looking to break in and figure out how do I meet people in my community. Excuse me. The events is a great way to do that. And also, so that's locally. And if you wanted to expand that to your social media network, what do you love besides doTERRA? So here's the thing. You don't want to go into an essential oil group because these people are already using essential oils. You're not going to find new, fresh faces. And it's like a big battle in those groups anyway. So find groups that you love. So if you love to cook, find a women who love to cook group. Or, I mean, Facebook's advertising these groups all over commercials lately too, if you guys see it, right? They're talking about groups. Groups is a big thing right now. So it's a fantastic way to meet and connect with some new people. And as you do that, don't be afraid to say, hey, let's meet for some coffee. You know, let's get up and meet for some coffee. I'd love to, of course, after you've had some conversations and some, you know, you've talked to them, you've connected with them. But that's a great way to break into your local community. And even look for like, even for me, we've looked for volunteer events for my daughter and for myself. And that's been another great opportunity. I've met some fantastic people through Chicago through a couple of volunteer events that we've done. So it's a really endless opportunity to meet new people. So for anybody that's like, I live in a small town, you know, I don't have a large network. I don't have an expanded network to work with. Dive into those Facebook groups, okay? And I'm encouraging you to do it all safely. Like everyone make sure that, you know, you're meeting people in public places, you're not inviting them to your home, that sort of thing. But you're making those connections with them first. You're making friendships, deep, genuine friendships. And you'll know if they're crazy right off the bat. So that's one way that I love to connect locally. And I love to connect that way through social media and expand that way as well. So really working on the promotions this month as well. I think I'm kind of like jumping all over the place, but I get so excited to share. I want to tell you all the things. Sharing promotions, really how to kickstart your month and sharing those promotions. I love to get into messaging. Even though doTERRA does emails, they're fantastic about sharing emails and sending out information for us and loading it onto our homepage when you log in. I still feel like that each person deserves an individual conversation. So what I do is I go back 3 months. So anybody that's become new on board, I feel for me is that 3 months, because anybody, if you have an ongoing education, anybody that's really into their 4th or 5th month would probably be settled in, having their ongoing education. They know where to utilize, access it. They have some tools for resources because you've guided them to do that. So I really like to go back 3 months. And I really love to send personalized messages. And it's really hard if you don't sit and have that focus to do so. I'm like the squirrel master. I get distracted so easy. So I have to sit and literally say I'm giving myself an hour to send personalized messages to my my last enroll for the last 3 months, and making that relationship with them, really getting that that connection. So if like I said, Kenzie just joined me 2 months ago, I'm gonna message Kenzie and be like, hey Kenzie, it's Jen. I'm checking in with you. I don't know if you saw this fabulous promotion this month. You and send them a graphic, okay? And with the excitement behind it, have some excitement in your wording. Have some excitement. If you can even send them a voice message through Facebook Messenger, or if you're texting, have some excitement in the text. We've got this great promotion. I'm super excited to share it with you. Excuse me, it's our winter protection, and I'd love to show you how you can snag this deal. Do you need some help picking out some items this month? You know, can I help you pick out some items so you can get this deal this month? And you're helping them. One, if they didn't see the email, because I never see emails. I'm terrible at emails. Fun fact. I am terrible at emails. So maybe they didn't see the email, or maybe they didn't see the doTERRA promotion yet because they haven't logged in. So opening that conversation with them and saying, you know, this is what we've got going on this month. It's a fabulous deal. Do you need some help? Offer that. Do you need some help selecting some items this month so you can get this great, fantastic deal? And they're going to say, oh my gosh, you know, what they're going to say is, I had no idea, or yeah, I do. I need some help figuring out what I'm going to get this month. And that gives you the opportunity to again have another conversation with them, a wellness a lifestyle overview. Like, oh, and I like to look sometimes in the back office and say, well, you started with this. So I think these would complement what you got really well. I think this would be great to add to your collection. So you're guiding them. You're guiding them into how they can get the deal and what's going to be a great, some great products to add and complement to what they've purchased before. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So are you saying you're like a personal shopper almost?
Exactly. We have to be. I mean, I feel like in the first 3 months, doTERRA's, it can be a little overwhelming, right? I know for me it was, right? So becoming I love that, Kenzie. I love that.
Yeah, my grandmother orders me things out of her catalogs all the time, and she calls these personal shoppers on the phone, right? And she spends hours with them, and she gives them hundreds of dollars.
Yep.
Personal shopping, right there.
And that's what we're doing, right? We're helping them.
What I like about what you said, Jen, is that's what the people need, is the hand holding. And sometimes I think as advocates, we cut ourselves short by going at it at this angle and then scooping in with the deal, right? Because then it feels like, you're trying to sell me something. But to come out the gate and say, I'm your personal assistant here to help you shop and get what you need, then they know to expect that from you. And it doesn't feel like a bait and switch type of experience.
Totally. And I tell them, I'm like, I'm your health coach without the degree. I'm like, I'm going to help guide you into this new healthy journey. And another thing that I like to do is I like to thank them for the opportunity to go on this journey with them, because it's a journey for both of us, right? As a friend, because we're now their friends. Like you've now signed on a new friend. It's not just a member, it's a new friend. And really taking the time to get to know them. So a way that I like to work is for the beginning of the month, working with my new members. I like to work with my new members in the beginning of the month. So like from the 1st to the 15th is my goal to make sure all my new members are set up, make sure they know how to use LRP, make sure they know how to get resources for their oils. and then the second half of the month is when I like to help bring on some new members. Now, I don't say no to new members in the 1st to the 15th, but I like to use that time for the first half of the month to really help and get to know my members and become like their personal shoppers.
When you say, just to clarify, when you're talking about, contacting them, you're talking about your personal enrollments.
My personal, yeah.
So who takes care of everybody else on the team?
Well, that's the conversation you should be having with your advocates. They should be doing the same thing. They should be duplicating that same process. And it's because we're so fast paced today, right? And social media is like lightning speed, right? And I have to even pull myself back, because people, as much as we will meet these individuals and everyone will say they don't have time, I guarantee you, when you open that door to saying, hey, I'm here for you, let's take this next step together. I'm a friend, I'm your friend. When you lead with that heartfelt situation, they're gonna feel that. They'll feel that. They'll genuinely feel that. And yeah, your team's new members, that should be their responsibility. I mean, if there's rare occasions and some circumstances that come up, you're not going to leave someone hanging high and dry, but that's also teaching your team how to lead. It's like teaching a class with them. And, the first class you teach for them. The second class, you're there to be their support. And the third class, you're pushing them out the nest. Well, that's how I do it anyway. I'm just kidding. I don't push anybody out any nest. But I really do think it's an important connection that we need to have with our members. And check out the feelers. So we're supposed to figure out, right? Is this someone that's going to possibly be a business partner with us, right? So you're really getting a feel for, how does this person feel? I feel like figuring out sometimes who business partners are going to be can take a lot longer, and that's okay. But it's a great opportunity to say, also talk about the business, right? When you're having that connection with someone, like, this is what I do for a career. I love it. Ask them what they do, get to know them on a personal level, because that's really what's going to, like I said, develop that relationship.
I'm going to keep asking questions. If you guys want to unmute, let's do it. But another question I have for you. So we make that touch and that connection. And now either they order right then, they don't. What's your next follow-up look like? Like, they were interested, but they didn't order. How often are you checking that in your office? When's your next touch?
So I feel like when most of the times, if you have them on the messenger with you, or that conversation with you, they'll be happy to fill their cart up right then and there, because you're walking them through the actual system process. Because I mean, the LRP process is a little tricky, right? In the beginning, we all know that. So really walking someone through that, they're adding items to their cart. If they don't process right then and there, so you're basically going to say, well, I'm going to follow up with you in a few days, just to see if you have any questions, see if you understood the LRP process, and I'll just check back with you in a few days. So sometimes I'll check back with them 3 to 5 days, somewhere in that mark, because I want to give them a little space. Maybe they need to review their resource to see if there's something else they'd like to add. So somewhere in that mark for following up. That's why I like to say the 1st to the 15th, because in a beautiful world, we would get all of our new members on the phone on the first, and everybody would process that 200 PV order, and we'd be like, yes, let's go for it. And that's not always how it happens, right? In a perfect world, but it's not how it happens. So giving yourself, okay, I've got this day laid out to contact these two, or I've got this day laid out to contact this person. It's a really nice timeline for me that works. Again, we don't say no to new enrollments from the 1st to the 15th though.
Can we go back to the very, very beginning when you very first started to do your Facebook Lives?
Yep.
Okay. And tell me how, you know, how you kind of started that process and developed that conversation, you know, and just kind of all of that.
Sure.
Can you?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started doing the Facebook Lives, you know, again, nervous wreck getting on there, pushing the go button. I had like, you know, that Eminem song, like your arms are sweaty and you feel like you're gonna throw up and all that stuff. That was me. And so I was like so nervous to share. And then as soon as I got myself on there and started to share what I love for doTERRA, you got your friends and family that start to watch first. That's who jumps on. They're like, what's Jen doing on Facebook, right? Jen, I never used Facebook prior to doTERRA, ever. And so when I start hopping on there, first people that are gonna be like, whoa, is your family and your friends, right? So they're gonna be your first points of contact. And so when I started doing my lives, I would think you've got to add. So Facebook doesn't Facebook doesn't show you after the live is over who watched your live. Okay,
Right.
You have to ask people to comment. You have to say, drop your favorite color. What are you having for dinner tonight? How's the weather? What's the temperature? Is it snowing? Drop it below. Or give them something to start the conversation, so you know whoever's engaged is going to say 65 tacos, whatever their conversation that you're asking them, right? 65 and tacos sounds phenomenal though, doesn't it? I just had I was like, oh, that sounds fun. So give them something to comment about, because once they comment, now you have something to go back on. You have a way to go back and be like, thank you, Tracy, for hopping on my live and supporting me tonight. I really appreciated that. Or thanks, Susie, for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate your time and your support. And you're just saying, in general, thanks. Like, thanks for watching me. Thanks for your time. Thanks for, you know, hanging out with me. And it's as simple as that. I didn't go into oils because they watched me and they knew what I was already talking about, right? But I did want to say thank you for your support. And in that same sentence, okay, in that same sentence, you can invite them to your, well, okay, so I do this, I know this might be a little different, but I have a closed group where I have my members and I have prospects together. And I do this way, and this isn't, not everybody does it this way, so it's fine. But I do it this way because, in my opinion, prospects, members give the best testimonials. And when a prospect sees a phenomenal member testimonial, they say, well, I need what she has. Like, I can't believe I just read that. Or that's phenomenal. There's many different ways of doing it. For me, and time saving, I just put them in one group, and it's closed. It's closed for my people. So in that same sentence, Tracy, a lot of times I would, you know, say, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate your support. I have a really fun group that if you want to just come hang out and learn some more, here's the link. And I'd send them an invite, because once you get them into your invitation, once you get them invited into your group and they see some of the real meat and potatoes of what doTERRA is, right, in your closed private groups, they can really see some more amazing testimonials. They can see what the oils really are doing for people out there on a little bit deeper level, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So there's nothing wrong with like saying, I have a group, we have a lot of fun, and asking other people to use referrals. Referrals are important too, you guys. So when you're doing your lives, and just like in person, right? When you're doing your lives, I would say like, hey, go ahead and share this video. It really would help me share the word of doTERRA. People are love to share. People, especially if they feel a connection with you, and they feel like you have had said something that could really help somebody else. Don't be afraid to ask for that referral system as well, or that share option, because that's really important. And as you're growing your friendship network, same thing. When you're adding some new people on to becoming friends, right? I'm going to send Tracy a friend request. Tracy accepts. Tracy says, do I know you? And I go, no, but doTERRA, Facebook suggested we be friends. Does everyone see Facebook suggest friends every time? Yeah, okay. Facebook suggested we be friends, and I thought you were a bright individual. I'd love to get to know more about you. And usually people are very open to that. I mean, and if they're not, you don't even know it. They just don't accept your friend request. So, or they delete you, and it's fine, you'll never know. So it's really about building connections. Think about how you want to be. Do you guys ever get spam from people from other MLMs and you're like, ew, right? Yeah, don't be that person. Don't do that. Don't be that we've never met and now I'm gonna send you a message to buy some stuff. And we're not in the business of selling stuff either. We're in the business of sharing a lifestyle change. Like, that's our business. We're not in the business of just selling something and it's over. Like, we're in the business of sharing a lifestyle and change together on a journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Because I think it's one thing to do the live, but then it's another thing to take that live and
work it.
Continue, you know, that conversation. And I love your I guess call to actions, if you will. You know, that'd be how you would, you know, classify it. You know.
And if some people are asking questions on your live,
yeah,
you can say, I could be like, hey Tracy, let's side conversation that right after my live I'm done. I'm gonna message you and get that message going with them and saying, you know, that was a great question about breathe. So let me explain a little bit more about it for you. Or, you know, you can even give the option. I can sometimes even give the option when someone's inquiring about the oils. Do you have a second to pop on a live chat with me? And Facebook Messenger has that face-to-face chat option. Because people generally would be like, yeah, I've got a few minutes. Let's do it. Because sometimes it can get lengthy in Messenger, right? So if we're talking about something specific, you can offer to be like, hey, let's jump on a quick chat together. So you got 10 minutes? And right then and there, people are they're open to it. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And you're giving them a link right then and there. You're like, let me create you a link, send it, and then it's done.
very, very cool. Thanks. That's
You're
awesome.
Welcome.
Yay.
Yeah. So the call to actions, always find ways to connect with the people on your live. So the more conversation pieces you can get going, you know, do that on your lives. And that comes with practice. It comes with practice. It comes with, you know, when you're kind of like, what questions you want to ask them, how do you get conversation going with people on lives? It just comes with practice.
I feel like I'm way more comfortable doing lives in my private oiler groups than I am on my public page.
Okay, and that's phenomenal, right? Because it's a great place to be safe. But how are you got your people in your group are already there because they are ready to learn about oils, or they're excited because they're a part of the oil family already. But how are you going to reach new people in the group, right?
I know.
So it's getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and getting out there and really putting your heart to saying, I'm Susie, this is what I do and I love it, and this is what it can do for you, and this is how I use it, and I can help you become part of this family. And then as you start to do it, as you start to get comfortable, doesn't mean you can't do personalized for your group, right? For your users group. It doesn't mean you can't get in there and do some more personal information for them. But how are you going to bring new people on board? Because maybe in your group, they're already all members, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of expanding outside that circle.
This is awesome. I'm going to shut off the recording, guys, in case somebody has a question they don't want to ask on the recording.